everyone, and welcome back to the channel. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Wednesday. It's November 5th. It is beautiful out here today. It's sunny. There's a slight breeze. It's like in the 60s or something. In the sun, it's pretty warm. In here, it's nice and cool. So I just go outside, sit in the sunshine, and it was pretty, for about 10 minutes, it was pretty good, and then it got really hot. So I decided to come in. I even had to take off my hoodie that I had on this morning because my morning routine, that's something I don't know if I've ever shared before or not. So I'll just kind of do a little, morning routine. I know I'm not going to walk you through it exactly because it's already like probably 2 o'clock in the afternoon, but I know most people do have a morning routine. And mine has changed over the years, depending on where I was at or what I was doing. Of course, with work, it was a little different. There was a time when I was working. This was probably, this had to have been, let's see, it's been a long time because we've been out here 6 years. 18, 19, maybe 19 years ago or so. We lived out in this town that was about a half an hour from my hometown, and I worked in my hometown. And we lived out in this area for, I don't know, it was a while. I'm not sure if we were out there for a year or so. And then we moved back into our hometown. But when we did that, part of my morning routine then was to be up at I usually was up by 5, sometimes earlier, got ready and made it into my hometown before 6 o'clock to meet Margie at Daylight Donuts, which was our favorite place to go have a cup of coffee or two. And I had a maple old-fashioned donut. She'd have the glazed old-fashioned. And we haven't done that in years. And so we've been talking about that. And they're still open. They're only open certain days and until noon or sell out. A lot of things changed after COVID with that. They used to be open from about 6 a.m. to about 5 p.m. And they used to, I don't know if they still sell food, and I think they do. They used to sell nachos, Frito pies, and certain sandwiches and different things like that. Because I used to go for lunch there sometimes with my mom and my aunt, my grandma, my dad, and whoever, my sisters, brother, Ben, whoever was around at that time to go with us. So like I said, part of my morning routine was to get up, get ready, and get there so we could have Bible study, pray together, and just kind of ease into our day, right? And then I did that for a while. When I lived in town, we did that every once in a while, where we would go meet early in the morning. And then it was just there was times I was just so rushed to get to work, and just instead of getting up earlier and having some time to just sit and ease into the day, it was rush. And a lot of that for me started with the chronic illness, right? I was really, really tired a lot. I was having really a lot of hard trouble sleeping. That at that time, I think I was diagnosed with sleep apnea. And I guess it was pretty bad because I think they said I had I don't know what the time frame was, but it was over 50 something episodes in whatever time frame they had checked prior to hooking me up to all the machines or whatever. And that was horrible. I hated that sleep study. I did not like it. I never want to do one again, but I think I have to do one. But excuse me. But now I hear that there is one that you can take home and do there. And then you take it back in or whatever. Although I have to say that part of how bad it was then has gotten better since I've lost a lot of weight and everything. And Ben's the one that's noticed that. So he's the one that noticed that something was going on before, because I would stop breathing and sorry, I have to adjust my back and everything. What a pain. Anyway, so, he noticed that sometimes I would snore, or not really that I was snoring exactly, but it was like a gasping for air, a really loud, intake of air and that. And so that hasn't happened, excuse me, it hasn't happened much, over the last few years. But every once in a while, I kind of notice it every once in a while because I'll wake up feeling like I wasn't getting enough oxygen or whatever at that moment. So, but the problem was I used to hate that machine. And I don't know if it's because by the time I actually decided to try it, I didn't need that much air or the speed that they send it through or whatever, because it would just make me feel like I was choking. So I don't know. And it took me a while to try it. So we'll see if that goes on. But I know I totally went off the rails there. So back to the morning routine. So then later on, when I was, well, work changed a little, and then when I quit working, because I was working later in the nights for some things that had gone on at work. So in the mornings, I would go and have coffee or breakfast with my mom, and if my dad wasn't working, and if not, it was my grandma, my aunt, my grandpa, uncles, whoever was around that wanted to get together. So we did that. And then when I quit working, I spent most every day with my mom. She'd pick me up in the morning and we would go. And I realize now, I'm so grateful for all those memories and all those times that we spent together. But that was part of my problem, was that I wasn't sleeping enough. And so then when I would go do these things in the morning, I was so tired and exhausted and just not taking care of myself. But you don't realize that some of the fun things that we do, some of the good things that we do can take a toll on us because we're not aware of what our bodies can tolerate at that moment because of whatever's going on. And like I've said before, I'm an ignorer of pain and illness and whatever else. I just don't care, or I don't want to deal with it. Or if I say this is what's going on, then it makes it real and it gets worse. And sometimes I like to stuff things away and pretend they're not there. So the next phase, when we moved out here, my morning routine changed a lot. It was really weird because at that time, we didn't have a car. Before we moved out here, the cars that we had broke down. We didn't have a car. So I didn't have something to do. And I was out here in the middle of nowhere, and so my morning routine turned into phone calls, really, phone calls with my mom, text messages, and coffee here for most of the time. And then whenever my mother-in-law had something to do, we'd go to Santa Fe, grocery shopping. Of course, COVID hit that time too. So everything was kind of weird. We moved here right in September of 2019. So right after we had a party for our anniversary in February that year of 2020. And it was right after that, everything just changed. And so over those years, I've tried to adapt a slow morning routine because I'm quick. I want everything done fast. It's my brain just processes things fast. But then it's because of that, because of anxiety and because of all of that, I'm just rushing all the time. And my brain's going and my body's just can you slow down? Can you stop? And I just can't seem to figure this out, right? So over the last, I say since the beginning of this year, after all of the chronic illness diagnosis and the add-ons that came in, in the last couple of years with autoimmune disease, and I'm thinking, you get one, it could develop into other things because I'm not taking care of myself. And I'm well, what can I do? What can I change to slow down a little bit? So I thought, well, let's start with the morning routine. Let's start with something that I can ease into the day instead of rushing right in. I mean, there was days that I would literally hop out of bed as fast as I possibly could, get dressed or shower, whatever it was that I was doing, shower, get dressed, and but it was quick. Everything had to be fast and then be on my way, whatever that was. And even when I was sitting and enjoying a cup of coffee, it was like fast. I had to, because there was always something more I had to do. Even if it was just making a list in my head of all the things I had to do, it just like, it was so overwhelming. So now I've done this get up slowly. I've learned, and part of this was brought on by some issues that I'm having sometimes in the middle of the night, sometimes when I wake up in the morning. I'll wake up and feels like my body, like the inside of my body is vibrating. And if I move my head just a little bit or anything, I will like get sick to my stomach. It's like I can't do that. I'm hoping that this video doesn't look choppy too, because it's doing that right now as I'm watching it. So hopefully it doesn't do that when I'm editing. But I decided, okay, so what can I do to go slower? So I get up a little slower. Like I still get up early, but I'm trying to get to bed early because I can't sleep. Once I'm awake, whatever time, 5, 6, 7, whatever time I wake up, I almost have to get up like pretty quickly because the pain starts and I can't lay down, especially with sciatica. It's crazy. So what I started doing was getting up, of course, a little slower, getting some comfy clothes on, going and getting coffee. And most of the time I sat here on my little table, sat here, and I would journal. I was doing morning pages then. And then I would do regular journaling, Bible reading, watch some videos, and, have text messages, phone calls, or whatever that I was doing. But I was trying to do it a little slower. And part of getting up earlier helped that, because I knew that I'd kind of set up my days where I would call my dad about 8 o'clock. And I thought, okay, so I know between like 8 and 9 or whatever, however long we talk on the phone. And then by that time, by like 9 o'clock, it's like the day's just going, right? It's like the energy of the day changes and things have to get done, whether I have appointments or grocery shopping or whatever's happening that day, it just goes, right? So I thought, okay, getting up earlier. So I started getting up about between 6 and 6:30. And I'd go get coffee and do that. So now it's a little different. I have my desk right here, and I will do the same thing, get up, get coffee, and do my morning pages. Usually I do those to music, or I'm trying to do it in silence and just do the 3 pages. And then I do, if I'm done with that, and I'll start my journal for the day, because I do my journal in like bits and pieces, usually in the morning and the evening, sometimes during the day, just depending on what I'm doing, because I do journal things from devotionals in there as well. I talk to my dad still about 8 o'clock or so, and then whatever else is going on during the day. And I normally don't just take a day to do nothing, because I always seem to have like appointments happening. This week I only had 2 appointments on Monday, which was acupuncture and therapy, and that day was amazing. The acupuncture, what we worked on that day was really good. I think I talk about that in a video already, so I'm not going to go into detail of that now. And if for some reason it's not a video, then I'll do a video about it later. But it really helped, and it was really relaxed. It was a really good day, but I knew I didn't have anything the rest of this week as far as appointments. So that's why I made the decision to go pick up the food box tomorrow, because I don't have to really do anything else. And I thought that'll be good. We'll pick up the food box, and then I can go have my coffee at Barnes & Noble, which has become my go-to place when I have appointments in Santa Fe, or Ben has something to do in Santa Fe, or we have grocery shopping, or we just need a day to decompress or whatever. And that seems to be my go-to, like have my dark caramel shaken espresso, do some journaling, listen to some music, watch a video, whatever it is, and I'm good. So then what I'm trying to do now, starting November, to switch up my morning routine just a little bit. I am trying to get to bed earlier now that the time has changed and everything. But instead of getting up right away when I wake up, I get my heating pad, and I like make sure that I can kind of heat up the parts that hurt, because a lot of times that's due with cold. Like I get cold or something's going on, especially with my leg and my back and different stuff. So I've been doing that, which it was really hard for me because I'm like, I can't stay in bed. I can't put a heating pad on and just stay in bed and like not get up right away and get that coffee. Even though I was kind of slowing down my routine, even just doing that was slowing down for me. But it was like, I get this, I don't know what it is. It's like any little change is hard for me in my routine. So my routine was get up. The minute you wake up, get up right then and there. Get your comfy clothes on. Go get your coffee. Sit down to your journaling. And then after that, it was like, you know, you call your dad and you, if you have text messages or whatever you're doing, you're watching videos, whatever it is. And then it's time to shower for the day or whatever it is, get dressed for the day, depending on what was going on. And there was never like, not really that slow of a day. And there was never like nourish your body with some food or anything, because it's just like GLP-1s are hard. They make it really hard to eat. However, this morning I actually woke up hungry. I was like, what happened? That has not happened in a long time. I know part of that is the Mounjaro. And I know that when you're like, I do deal with like high levels of cortisol, I think that's part of the problem. And so sometimes that makes it a little hard for you. Like you're not hungry because your insulin levels, different things are going on in your body, right? So what I did this morning is I didn't eat right away. I still just, like I stayed in bed for a little longer. I did the heating pad and I felt a little better. I didn't jump up when I was feeling dizzy and all the weird vibrations. And then I got up slowly, got into my comfy clothes, and then went and got coffee. Had some water first, then I went and got the coffee, and then a little while later, after I did my morning pages, talked to my dad, I think I even started my journal, I'm not sure, and I watched Kentucky Life with Debbie, I think, and then I was like, you know what, I'm hungry. Like I had my coffee, but I'm still kind of hungry, and which was, like I said, was odd for me. So I had this leftover stew that I made with potatoes, ground beef, veggies, and this turmeric ginger bone broth, which is a chicken bone broth. But it still was good with that. And I had like all my spices in it. So I'm like, there's not a whole lot. And if we don't eat it, it's going to have to get thrown, right? So I warmed that up for lunch and we all had some. And it actually felt good. Like it made my body feel better. Like I actually got something nourishing, some protein. And that bone broth is so good. And then it's all warming and all that stuff. So I want to make having something like that as in my morning routine. So even if it's like 9 o'clock or whatever, when I actually eat something, depending on like if I'm here or going out of town, if I have to go to Santa Fe or to Vegas, my plan is to use, because I have my Tupperware water bottle that I use, the water tumbler, whatever they're called. I have a Stanley, the smaller one. So I think what I'm going to start doing is fill that with bone broth and just drink it and have something protein. That way, sometimes I just don't want to eat, but I think I can do the bone broth. So that's going to be part of my morning routine. So what do you guys do for morning routines? I need some ideas, especially now for the autumn season, the winter, everything's cooler. I want to start like adding in some real nourishing, warming type of. All right, sorry about that. My phone storage, it got full. And so it cut me off at the end of that. But what I was saying is just if you have any ideas for some good, fall, autumn, winter routines, morning slowing down, or just things that you do to nourish your mind, your body, spiritually, all of that stuff, leave them in the comments below, because I'm always looking for something to try out that might work for me, and I'm sure other people would be looking or interested in knowing what other things some people do. I also do my Bible reading during the morning, which I'm not being as consistent as I was. I am doing scripture writing though. I do have 2 that I'm doing. I do one in my journal, like I've showed before. And then I don't know if I actually showed the journal last time that that I'm using. So this is the Revealed Prayer Journal that Diana sent. And so let me open to a blank page. So this is what it looks like in here. So this is, you fill out the adoration, the confession, thanksgiving, supplication, and then today's scripture. So I found a scripture writing plan on Pinterest, I think, for gratitude for the month of November. So those are going in that book. So those are great things to do too. If you have any like nourishing recipes, anything that you like to eat during this time of year that is warm and good, teas or food, whatever it is, leave those in the comments below as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one. God bless you. Bye.